Welcome back to the WRLA Podcast. We hope you are doing well and getting ready for a really busy spring season. I'm really excited to have Martine Yzerman from our team here with us today. We're going to be talking a little bit about the WRLA Academy. And if you haven't had a chance yet to see some of our publications, we did launch the WRLA Academy this past January during the WRLA Showcase. In our strategic planning session that we did with the board of directors over the past year and a little bit, one of the key things that came out of our sessions is that we really need to focus on attracting talent, but making sure we also have training that is robust, that really helps to upskill staff, will help our members onboard some of their team, and make sure that we have the ability to build a really great and strong industry as we move forward. We truly have initiated that piece, and I'm really excited to have Martine here with us to talk today a little bit about some of the things that we've been doing, but also some of the things that we've been working on. As many of you know, our estimating programs have been the bread and butter in terms of our education, and we certainly have wanted to take that time to redevelop it, but we are also focusing on the future, and we hope that this podcast inspires you to reach out and help us develop our education even further so that we can help you build better businesses. So thank you so much for joining me, Martine. Super happy to have you here in Winnipeg. How has your week been with us so far?
Amazing. It has been so educationally enriching.
Now, you have a huge passion for creating curriculum, education, development. Tell us a little bit about some of the things that you've been working on and how it's going to benefit our membership and our industry.
Well, I think what we really identified together and as a team was that we need to see how can we support our members through the lens of when they're just coming brand new into the industry, much like myself. So I had a lot of questions. As well, I think what's really been beneficial is to see that estimating level 1, we've been able to bring it back into one day. What does that do? It actually brings the employees back into the stores and back into their business so that they're not spending that time away and that the cost that's also involved with that. So what we've done is we've actually created an online terminology course. Terminology is first and foremost, that is really the premise of everything. If we understand the terminology, we can move into what now we've also created online is the Blueprint Reading course. And so the Blueprint Reading together with the terminology is then going to set you up for success in estimating level 1. So estimating level 1, this has been really fun, is now being offered, as I just mentioned, as a one-day course where we're looking at how to estimate decks, garages. We do that in the morning. We then move into a bungalow in the afternoon. And at the very end of the day, we talk about a simple 2-story home. The level 2, we've now been really building that course out. It's also a one-day course. But we start at a simple 2-story home, and then we move into more of a complex home where we have the tall wall systems, we have cantilevers, we have bonus rooms. And then eventually we will be offering a level 3 as well, which is really that large multifamily condo projects. And so we have some amazing other courses that are up on deck here, and maybe you can introduce that one.
Well, we're going to talk about that in one sec, but I did want to loop back on the terminology because we have a lot of acronyms in this industry, and we also have a lot of newcomers that are coming in. So why don't you talk about how that terminology class might help our membership with their newcomers that might be coming in to work in their business?
Yes. So the terminology was one thing for me where within any new industry, it's eye-opening. Because, of course, I've heard, of 2x4, but a 2x4 isn't, in fact, a 2x4. Just shy of that. But really the way that we broken down that terminology course is exactly as we're offering the estimating and the way that an estimator would create a takeoff. So what are all the components that are part of that of that takeoff? So we start with really the foundation. We build it all the way up into the walls. We build it into the main floor, into the roof. We talk about the interior assembly as well. We've covered a lot of pieces. That course, that terminology course, although we're calling it terminology for estimators, it's actually such an incredible base foundational knowledge that it would also really help for for the learner, but then also for the employer to say, you know what, yeah, I can see you're really passionate, or let's focus on maybe something else that you might be interested in. It's a online, you can do it very interactive. We've made it so that the learning itself is in the moment of time. So you don't need to sit through long, arduous modules and reading PDFs. It's really engaging for the learner.
Well, I really appreciate that. And obviously our members will too. And, as we speak with some of the newcomers that are coming into this industry, whether they're new to Canada or whether they're just entering into the industry, that's one area where we have received some feedback from some of those folks saying, where you can maybe do a little bit of support as a WRLA is to really help us with that terminology. So it's really nice to see that coming to fruition, and we're looking to expand that into some other areas. But back to the other course that you were excited about. Net zero is a really big initiative that everybody needs to be working on. And there's one thing that has been pointed out and made very clear is that our industry and our members have been a little bit slow to adopt the fact that this is actually coming into play. And even today, we had an excellent call with Gord Cook from the Building Knowledge Center, who's the guru on building science and energy efficiency. And he made it really clear that builders are working to be net zero ready for next year. So they are wanting to make sure that their practices and their plans and everything is being built around that. So we are really trying to help make sure that our members have that base knowledge. And so we did have a building science and energy efficiency course. And so how are we going to rebuild that? What are some of your plans? And how do you want to help bring that to light and help our members really embrace this so that they're not learning from their customers, they're learning and can then educationally speak with their customers?
Well, and that is where we're so lucky to have such an incredible wealth of knowledge right among our own membership base. And we will be reaching out to our members who have that knowledge, who are already integrating the net zero mentality now. But then we'll also be reaching out to the industry experts, exactly like our Gord Cooks. And we've learned of other people as well within Canada. And we want to see how can we collaborate and how can we prevent from having to recreate the wheel, because that's not necessary. We're thrilled to be able to offer it in such a way and in using the terminology that makes sense to you and I, right? That we don't need to be the engineers of the world. We don't need to have 20 years of experience, but we feel confident and empowered when we're done with the course. Hey, you know what? I have that real strong fundamental foundational knowledge when we talk about net zero.
Absolutely. And, when you tie it back to our estimating programs, you've read the blueprints, you know how to do the estimating. And now as you tie in the net zero piece and the energy code, now it's also going to be easier for people to be able to identify that maybe there might be an error in a plan, or there might be a substitution that we need for something else. So we're really excited that we're going to be able to connect those dots. And just on top of the WRLA Academy, we're not just focused on education, because we are, but we also really want to make sure we have an integration of education to support our members, their employees, and to attract talent. But as another part of that layer is we also want to introduce talent to the industry. And so I want to segue, because coming up April 13th, we have a really important session here for our members in Alberta. So talk to me about the partnership that we have been working on developing, that we finally have been able to bring to fruition, because the pandemic put a huge halt on this for us. So let's talk a little bit about the other program that you've been working on in terms of bringing people into the industry.
Well, I've got to say, Liz, you've done an incredible job of establishing those relationships. And that was very easy for me just to kind of slide in there and just to engage with the Calgary Board of Education. As for our Calgary members especially, that we have two really large educational boards, one of them being the Catholic, one being the public. And the Calgary Board of Education has an incredible program where students have the opportunity to take their core curriculum classes either in the afternoon or in the morning. And then on the other side of the day, the afternoon or the morning, when they don't have the core curriculum classes, instead of doing optional courses, they actually have a chance to work within the industry. And that industry is massive. It doesn't just need to be, let's say, in the lumber yard. They can also just work on the sales desk, or they can actually do an entire rotation. But the employer has the opportunity to take on several students, and they come to work. For every 25 hours that they work, for the employer, they get one high school credit.
That's incredible.
It is so fantastic. On April 13th, as Liz just mentioned, we are hosting an info session And that'll be together. Currently, we have 2 students with Matri, and we have 2 students at the Cedar Shop. We will be hosting the info session at the Cedar Shop on Thursday, April 13th. The Calgary Board of Education Unique Journeys representatives will be there as well, along with the Alberta Careers Program, which is another incredible initiative. And that is really hiring on people where employers then get access to $10,000. And so you can take on 2 employers, in fact, and you get a maximum of then the $20,000 if those employees fall within more the underrepresented groups. Okay. But even if they don't fall under the underrepresented groups, the employer still gets access to $5,000, which is an unbelievable initiative. There's really no audit that's been taken as to where the funds are going. You can use that money for additional training, for products, for anything. So those 2 programs will be spoken about on Thursday, April 13th. And if you do have any questions about that, please reach out to me because I can get you in touch with the right people. It is the turnaround with both Matri and the Cedar Shop was very quick. They were super eager, and it has been such a successful program. We're thrilled for it.
Perfect segue, because I actually wanted you to talk a little bit about the success that we've been having with the Calgary Board of Education program, both with the Cedar Shop and Matri.
Yes, and so both the students will be speaking there as well. We did a really fun interview. Actually, the Cedar Shop, we already know that they have offered jobs to the 2 girls that are working there. Wonderful young ladies, and they are loving the opportunity of just getting every facet of what the business is all about. They're getting a great understanding. Calgary Board of Education does a super job of making sure that the people that are, that they're selecting, the students that they're selecting to work at these employers or these businesses, that is the right match. And it's been terrific. We're really, really thankful for this. We know that these programs exist at other boards of education across Canada, and we're just busy figuring those out. I'm in Calgary, so.
Well, what's really exciting is to hear that there's opportunities for employment for those students. A lot of us, if you talk to a majority of the people that work in this industry, we kind of fell into it by accident. Well, you and I met on riding bikes. Thank you, Ken Crockett of Star Building. But, we look at so many people who thought they were going to be just taking on a job, and then they realize that there's this huge opportunity to learn. There's a ton of different products. There's a bunch of different areas that you can have some specialties. And in the end, we build communities. And I think that's one thing that we don't talk about enough is the community impact we have, whether it's through building homes, giving people shelter, whether it's raising money through charity rides or giving back in different ways to make sure that charitable organizations are well supported in the community. Our members and our industry is a really critical part. And we certainly want to continue to inspire people to join it because you can also do extremely well. So I'm very encouraged to hear that things have been going really well with the Cedar Shop and Matrine. I think it's something that we're going to get to be able to build and obviously expand with the rest of our territories. We did start in Alberta because that was our first entry point in terms of interest and readiness to jump on board with us. So I'm super pumped about that. Anything else you want to talk about from that front? And maybe just a good reminder to encourage everybody to join us and anything else that you might want to mention?
Well, we would absolutely love to see you at the info session. It's a fun coffee connect, and it starts at 9:30 on Thursday, April 13th. And not only will we be speaking about the Calgary Board of Education opportunities, but also the careers program that I quickly touched upon with the employers getting access to that kind of money. And I really want us to, take some time and really consider that one of the groups that is of the underrepresented groups, if you will, are the newcomers to Canada.
Yep.
If you've been here up until 10 years, you're still considered a newcomer. So think about that and perhaps realize that, wow, there is a lot of opportunity, not only for you, but also for these new employees that think about, they have a skill set that I know that we can really embrace and hone in.
Yeah,
exactly.
Absolutely.
So we are super excited for it. And we always want to ask as well from our members is, if there's courses, if there's learning development that you feel we need this right now, I also want to share that we'll be building out an entirely new yard and warehouse management, which the title will be changing, but it
will be because it's focused on increasing your profitability, and we want to make sure that we're building that into that piece as well. So, yes. We are so delighted to have you with us and helping us to build our education. Really also excited to announce that we've got a new team member that's going to be joining us as well.
Yes.
So Bonnie Moore is going to be joining us to support the curriculum development because we realize there's a lot of opportunity and we'll be able to do more with some more resources. So if there is area of interest in terms of getting some more education out and you have some topics you'd like us to explore, please do reach out to us because we certainly want to be there for you. And I also really want to give a big shout out to some of the volunteers who helped us to get here. We certainly could not have done this on our own. And Len Regier from NewFab in Regina has been such a huge resource. He's on our board and is a volunteer who deserves a gold star and a gold medal because he's been incredible. He's been very patient because we've had a bit of a learning curve. Also really want to thank Nicole Young from Star Building in Calgary. She's been amazing. Her knowledge is really what helped us redeveloped a lot of the estimating piece. Robinson, who helped us in Saskatchewan as well in terms of the blueprint reading. Eddie Cho from Trimlight was the one who connected us to the Calgary Board of Education. So thank you so much for your support. We've got Ed Neufeld and Chris Hogan also on our education committee who've worked with us to connect us to some different organizations, support us through looking at all of our material and helping us on the redevelopment side. So thank you so much to all of you. We really appreciate it. And if there's anybody who wants to join our education, we'll call it task force.
Yes, please.
Yeah, we're going to call it a task force because we're getting things done. So if you would like to join us, please do reach out. We want to have you engage with us as much as possible because we are here to build a better industry and we're here to support you. So thank you so much, Martine, for being with me here today, for joining us this week in the office and for getting to do some cool things.
Oh, it's been an awesome week.
It has been an awesome
Another
week.
amazing week with the WRLA. Thank you so much, members.
Have a really great day and we'll see you on the next podcast.
Take care.
Bye.